So Becky Lynch has apparently, from what everyone's been saying, that she has now become the female version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I'm not gonna like say she isn't. Well, probably because the only difference between Lynch and Stone Cold Steve Austin is that Stone Cold has stunned a lot of people, and Becky Lynch hasn't really stunned anybody. She's just basically come in and said she's the man. I was very impressed with how they're doing this whole thing with Becky Lynch. Um, it all started pretty much with Stephanie McMahon. I was watching that whole thing with Stephanie McMahon when pretty much when Stephanie came out and mentioned about the whole thing with the leg and that it hasn't been treated properly and she needs to go handle it. Becky is looking at it as you're taking away my opportunity to go to WrestleMania and take on Ronda Rousey, and that's what pretty much it is. So now all of a sudden, uh, Becky Lynch is trying pretty much everything in her power to make sure she keeps her, goes on to WrestleMania. She doesn't even care if her leg's broken or not, or hurt in any way possible. So then Stephanie McMahon decides, to go ahead and suspend Becky Lynch. And when I look at the way Stephanie did this with Becky Lynch, it almost is similar to when Stone Cold Steve Austin gave the first stunner to Vince McMahon. Almost similar. Becky took it to heart and did what any person would do if you're being put in a position to be out of the spotlight of WrestleMania. And that is to go ahead and attack Stephanie McMahon. And that's exactly what she did. She went ahead and attacked Stephanie McMahon, and it was bound to happen sooner or later. It was going to happen, and it took place, and then everything, it was just completely off the chain. And you got to admit, I mean, this was beautiful. It was brilliant. It was done right, and for once, Becky is the hottest woman in the room, and I'm not talking about the fact that she's a gorgeous woman, but it's the fact that she's really getting the attention of everyone with this whole thing with the McMahons. And it's always good to have a superstar like Becky to rival up against the McMahons. And then comes SmackDown Live, and then all of a sudden the whole thing with Charlotte, and all the rumors and speculation about Charlotte wanting to be a part of the main event of WrestleMania, which I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't want to see, nobody wants to see Charlotte Flair become a part of this match. It should not happen. We deserve to have Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. That was going to take place. The beauty of this was the fact that Becky Lynch shows up on SmackDown Live, and then here comes Triple H. And Triple H went ahead and was trying to tell Becky a few things, and then Charlotte, got in the way. And then that one beautiful moment when I heard Triple H said to Charlotte, "This doesn't concern you." And I was very happy to hear that because this should not concern Charlotte at all in any way possible. And all of a sudden, Triple H, you can tell, and you can understand why he was doing it. He was playing the psychological war game with Becky Lynch, was trying to get in her head and tell her that you're scared to go to the doctor and you're scared of what he might tell you and everything else like that. But in reality, I mean, all it is just to get Becky to go over and see the doctor. You see the doctor, you check your leg out, and then you go ahead and come back in. They lift the suspension, you move on to and you take on Ronda Rousey. Becky wasn't gonna have none of that shit. She said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. I'm gonna go after that bitch. I'm gonna take down the baddest woman on the planet at WrestleMania, and I'm gonna take her title." and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. That's pretty much what Becky Lynch is doing. So now Becky Lynch pretty much going against Triple H, pretty much going against Stephanie McMahon, and already people are saying that Stephanie McMahon's going to take on Becky Lynch. I like it. It's good, but also I don't think it'll happen. I think it will. It sounds good on paper, really does. But if they make the match happen, it probably will not happen at Elimination Chamber. It will probably happen at Fastlane. Should it go down that route? Should it happen? Uh, but what I think will happen, and I'm once again, it's one of these things that I'm speculating. I don't want it to happen, and I'm hoping it does not happen at all because it will just ruin. It will ruin a good main event match at WrestleMania because it's already been talked about that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch are going to have their match at WrestleMania, but also add the addition to Charlotte in it. Which, once again, like I said, I don't want it to happen. Nobody wants this to happen. This needs to happen after WrestleMania is over. Get the feud with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch out of the way. Give the fans what they want. Just because Charlotte has a big name and just because she's won titles and went up against Becky Lynch many times does not mean that she should just go ahead and be automatically in the main event of WrestleMania. She's already been in a triple threat match for the women's championship several years ago when it first started. That was WrestleMania 32. We're in WrestleMania 35 right now, and we just don't want it to happen. We just don't want it to happen. Now, everybody knows about Monday Night Raw coming up. And the McMahon family are apparently going to either have some sort of discussion with Becky Lynch or there's going to be maybe some repercussions of some kind. I'm not sure it work, but it's going to be interesting to see how all this goes. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone's looking forward to it. We're going to see how this goes. But like I said before, Becky Lynch is already becoming the hottest topic in all of professional wrestling right now. She's right now the hottest woman going today. Everyone's talking about Becky Lynch. And you can knock the man all you want to. You can say a bunch of stuff that will probably be okay. Well, what's so good about her and everything? A long time ago, there were a lot of other people that have said, "What's so good about Stone Cold Steve Austin? What's so good about The Rock?" And what happened? They became the hottest superstars in the Attitude Era. What is not going to surprise me if Becky Lynch becomes the hottest superstar going in all of WWE? Look how far she came. And now, with her being possibly in the main event of WrestleMania and possibly winning the Women's Championship at WrestleMania, she will become this. Basically became the female version of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The only thing she hasn't done yet is throw in a bunch of stunners. And in this case, she'll be breaking a lot of people's arms. So, whether anybody likes it or not, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Ronda versus Becky is the right way to go. Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte Flair, that should happen after WrestleMania. I don't think it should happen at all. But like I said, it should be great. I can't wait to see what's going to happen on Monday night. What are the McMahons going to do with Becky Lynch? All I say is the only thing that will be even more spectacular, and I'm speculating on this, is if Becky Lynch tries to break the arm of Vince McMahon. Try to break the arm of Vince McMahon. Because then that would be the highlight, and that would kind of. I can't say it would beat the stunner, but it will probably be the most exciting thing to check out, and it would be headlines all over social media.